And I'm going to read, just like give me a high sign when you're ready. Okay, so Dr. Mattie Quesenberry Smith, and it's doctor because she just finished her Ph.D. at Virginia Tech, has just been named Virginia Poet Laureate from 2024 to 2026. Her poetry has appeared in periodicals including Poetry X Hunger, the Timberline Review, and Phi Kappa Phi Forum magazine. She has written screenplays with her VMI peer, Virginia Military Institute peer, Douglas N. Smith. Their documentary film, Between Two Fires, won a CINE, or Cine Eagle, and Best Documentary of the Show in New York International Independent Film and Video Festival. And I looked it up, I haven't seen it, and it's actually about trafficked people, trafficked women. It's very moving. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences also awarded the film an Oscar for excellence in graduate student filmmaking. She derives much of her poetic inspiration from nature. Dr. Smith is currently working on a book of poetry entitled Optics and Doubt. So I like her because I'm a scientist and she wants to combine science and poetry. The title comes from Christian visual images and spiritual experiences linked to light. We look forward to hearing about her projects as the new Virginia Poet Laureate. Welcome, Mattie.
I want to first compliment you guys on your integrity and love that you show to Ed. That's really inspiring to me, and I want to thank you too for your grace, for allowing me to come read today. I'm actually very excited about this. This is certainly a little bit of a surprise. I am a teacher at Virginia Military Institute, as she shared. But I have written for years and cultivated writing in a number of people in my experiences for years, from 4th grade all the way through 80 and plus. So anyway, this is kind of a new turn, and I'm very thankful, and I know you guys are a big part of that, and I just want to say I'm super blessed by that. All right, so as she mentioned, I have a lot of different ways of thinking about my poetry. I've been in every part of the state, and so my friend Kirsten with Tupelo Press said, Mattie, look, you can speak out of the state. I'm like, okay, thank you. So anyway, my family is originally from Floyd County, Virginia. We were the hardscrabble, subsistence living people. And then my mother's family is from Catawba, Virginia, so I write about the Floyd thing and the Catawba thing, and then I read about the House Mountain thing, which is, House Mountain is in the background of Lexington, Virginia. Looks like a footstool. So I've written a bit about the ocean because I've lived in Virginia Beach and I've been in Northern Virginia, so it's kind of wild that way. Recently I've been writing a lot about light. My friend Richard Dillard once said to me, hey Mattie, you know what, in filmmaking, the best filmmakers film light. So I don't know, it kind of got in my head like a worm. And so now my poems seem to always be about light. I'm thinking, this is redundant, but okay. So the first one is about making shortbread, and it's about an experience I had when there was just a surprising warm day, and I was sitting outside with my kids in the middle of winter, and the shortbread was baked. Shadows cast in an Indian winter. Your shortbread bakes and the children play in winter's light, while the sun slices shadows into strange orange wedges and rejects the night. Your shortbread bakes and the children play in winter's light, their shadows stretching, casts light against the lawn's fresh hedges. Your shortbread bakes and the children play in winter's light, while the sun slices shadows into strange orange wedges. So I thought, that's, you know, today we have winter and long shadows. So a little bit about my background. Hardscrabble and a little rough around the edges. I try to keep it hidden, so don't get too scared. But I have a marble shooting hotshot father. So he taught us to play craps and to do it well. I'm not a fan of gambling now, mind you, but I'm just saying. I have a marble shooting hotshot father who took the schoolyard boys every time, cleaned the circle, and he carried the fattest bag, burgeoning with agates, wonderful slices of spiraling colors, horizons of woven waves, palm heavy. Those were real agates. Glass would never do. Grinning in his short shit way, that man cleaned up, and he beat him in the schoolyard, beat him in the court, beat him on the field, and beat us in the house, cribbage, basketball, rummy, poker, mumbly peg too. All of them cowards who picked up their marbles too soon, slid their feet back too soon, quit the court, and threw in the hand. He taught me to play craps, too. I learned to slam those dice against the baseboard in the kitchen like a cracker, a real live redneck cracker. All right. So, this next one's a long one, and I'm hoping it is a long one. Anyway, so my son, two sons, went to Utila, Honduras with some money their aunt gave them. And they planned this trip in their late teens actually, and I didn't want to stand in the way because I didn't really want to interfere with this, right? But a friend of mine said, "Oh, give me a break, Mattie, they're going to get killed." And I'm like, that's ridiculous. Why would you say that, right? And so they went, and this is what happened. Falling Boy for Eric Clapton and Philip Smith. Part 1, Falling in the Spring. A boy is falling. A boy clad in red pajamas is falling. A boy clad in red pajamas and slippers is falling. A boy clad in red pajamas and slippers is falling 49 stories from a window opened by the maid, falling into Manhattan one day after he saw the circus with his father, one day after they held hands together. When I heard Tears in Heaven for the first time, I told you I was praying for Eric Clapton every day, and you said, Eric Clapton, praying for Eric Clapton? Ha, I think Eric Clapton has everything he needs. Well, I'm praying for Eric Clapton, regardless of what you say, praying that he and the boy will have more time together. It is spring again, and I am thinking of you. It was spring, too, when Eric Clapton buried his son in the quiet English churchyard, Mary Magdalene Church, in fact. And cherry blossoms, fragile and speeding litter, fell along the grass, caught on tombstones. They were wind-splayed by spring's burst. It was Mary Magdalene who knew Christ's voice first. Part 2, Summer in Utila. The boy falling should have had wings, but instead he fell face first through currents and countercurrents, anticipating a landing, splayed on concrete and born to blood. My son had time to make it, so he slid behind the bush. He was bleeding. The blood pooled in his shoes. It had been a quiet island. The barriers teeming with stingrays, spiraling in water dances, swimming up from the deep where blood holds no color and oxygen boils in a bright spectrum of bubbles. Cuttlefish gently touching his fingertips, racing round his head, teasing him to push them back, regrouping and brushing the back of his head. When night fell on the island, he decided to go to Coco Loco's, where the fire dancers twirled torches, an eternity of sweeps past his head, an eternity of sweeps past his head. When the 5 islanders decided to take him, he feared falling, so he stood his ground, stood it all, the gallon jug shattering over his head, the hands of hell beating him, the broken bottles, the bar stools, his cheek flayed from his face, blood pooling in his shoes. The blood pooling and afraid of falling, he ran where he thought they could not find him. Blinded by blood, he begged for cover. And there was the brush of God's hover, How does a father catch a falling boy in bright red pajamas? How does a mother catch a running boy bound for the islands? Boys are born in blood, and it is blood that brings them living. Part 3, Blood Island. It is blood spilling on the seashore, pulling around the hermits, clawing the sand. It is blood bubbling from barrier depths and blood tinting the skyline. It is blood veiling the moon, directing the tide. It is blood you are breathing as you're running and hiding, blood pooling in your shoes. Blood is the boundary between you and your brothers. It lines the backside of shadows in which you hide. It is blood driving their frenzy and quelling it too. Blood to blood, blood from blood, blood of life, it bathes the moon and drips along the shoreline. It is blood that breaks into water, slakes their thirst. When the beating is over, it will be blood that seals the wounds. That's supposed to be an upbeat poem, and you can't tell. All right. This is a poem I wrote for someone whom I love, Eric Trethaway, when he passed. Out of the wind, you all but loved. Let there be a consolation for sorrows whispered from heaven to earth. Let there be a consolation for explosions, dissolutions, dismemberments, severances, and bloody issues. It is said consolation streams from heaven to earth, so you grab the hem, knowing that out of the wind you all but loved, you can expect a miracle, the ship secured, hems, sails, and ropes all fulfilled by wind. You can expect it before the wind, before it transpires the ocean, before it strikes the mast. All right, back to my father. To a fishing father, today I notice your body's bold decay, but do not want to wait for death to define you. You sling a sledgehammer over your sunburned head, beside you a toolbox, cold cornucopia of woodworkers' delights. At once I remember you were, as you were, that day we fished Johns Creek. Green waders, hip deep, cane pole angled away in air, your hook held back against the stream and its burbling foam-filled breaks. We all stood at the edge of dusk's darkened woods and watched your winning cast like small snake-charmed birds. I didn't time myself. Sorry.
Thank you, Mattie. We're so grateful to have you here and get to know you. Just one more. We'll do one more.
So sorry.
No,
I didn't time myself so well. But I do want to read a poem that is a Venison for Acorns. A venison for acorns. Dear God, bless the heart of our woodland matters. Bless this acorn fallen on the sweet, hard ground. Dear God, bless all the acorns covered by snow's cold stole. Bless their hearts blazing red, right inside their dun jackets straight ready. Dear God, bless their naked heads, sleeping through our starry nights, through dearth and blight. Bless them, God, as their hidden hearts flame. Dear God, bless all hidden hearts grown blood red to burst, quick ready to split the ground and spring from the cold, deep snow. Sorry about that. Thanks, Stacy. Thank you.
Got it?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so